we are here today to discuss if it would be possible to start WOP platform in Southeast Europe and region, that part of Europe. And we have several partners that are involved in this discussion, and we'll have now first 4 presentations from the partners which may be interested to support or in some way to contribute to this initiative, and later we'll have a panel discussion. So without further ado, I would invite Katarina Schilling. She is the head of Secretariat of IWD. It is International Association of Water Companies in the Danube River catchment area, to present what was being done in last 10 years, I would say, and what is the state of the sector in the region, essentially. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. My presentation is where? No, that's not mine. Yes, that looks better. Okay. So thanks, Alexander, for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to be here today to introduce IWD and our activities in the region. IWD is a membership-based association. It has been founded in 1993 after the fall of the Iron Curtain in Europe. Actually, by that time, capital utilities from, for example, Budapest and Belgrade approached the city of Vienna Water specifically for support. So actually the idea of WOPs, of utilities, supporting utilities, was the basis of founding IWD. Meanwhile, in the last 30 years, we have established a very strong network of cooperation in the region's water sector, and we have 3 types of members in 14 countries. These member types are utility members, association members, and institutional members. Under institutionals, we understand like NGOs, corporates, academia, etc. And we roughly have now 50 members in 14 countries. We do not only have members, we also have a lot of partners in the region and beyond. Among them, ministries in Austria providing us financing on the one hand. The World Bank is a very important partner for us, also GIZ. I will come to that later. I'm super happy that Carla is today with us from IWA. We have an MOU with them for the Danube region. NALAS, Global Water Partnership Central Eastern Europe. And we also see GWOP or GWOP here. And speaking of them, we also have an MOU signed with GWOP in 2016 to facilitate WOPs in the Danube region. The aim was to develop opportunities for IWD and its members to improve the service quality in the region. And in May 2023, we have also joined GWOP as a member. Right after we have signed the MOU, we also had the first WOP agreement between 2 IWD members. It was Budapest Utility and Subotica Utility in Hungary and Serbia. It was coordinated by us and supported by WOP, and the objectives were to improve Subotica's waterworks institutional capacity, strategic and operational management, and long-term planning. Based on, I would say, the lack of funding, but also then in the longer run, the pandemic, this WOP that we had with Budapest and Subotica was finally the last one, but we are hoping now with the new engagement here that we can create more opportunities. In addition, we engage with donors and IFIs. I mentioned the World Bank already. Since 2013, so 10 years basically, we are operating the Danube Water Program. We're implementing it jointly with the World Bank. The main financier here is the Austrian Ministry of Finance. And we have 11 target countries and 5 participating countries in the wider Danube region. In addition, we have the Regional Capacity Development Network, RCDN, in which we are participating. The duration of the first project phase was from 2017 to 2020, and now they just had launched the second phase, and we're just discussing our grant agreement there. It's funded by ZECO and BMZ and implemented by GIZ. And the importance of the Danube Water Program was just recently highlighted at the UN Water Conference, where with the support from one of our ministries in Austria, we were able to highlight the Danube Water Program as a lighthouse example for regional cooperation, one of the UN, inside UN side events. So a couple of activities we're doing. Given the limited time I have for this presentation, I will focus only on a few, and those are these ones that are targeted at networking and knowledge exchange. So on the one hand, we have our annual regional event, the Danube Water Conference, that was launched in 2013. Until 2019, it was done on an annual basis. Since 2020, we are alternating it with the so-called Danube Water Forum, where we go into the region in even years, and then in uneven years, we're in Vienna with the Danube Water Conference. And the next edition will be held on 31st May to 2nd June, so next week already. This annual regional event offers a platform for regional and cross-disciplinary dialogue on WSS challenges. In addition, we have, due to the pandemic also, or as a result of the pandemic, the so-called DWP Know Now webinar series developed. It's a webinar series, very short and crisp, 75 minutes on up-to-date topics with like one speaker and a couple of panelists, and we had 8 editions so far. In terms of capacity building, and with the support from the Danube Water Program, we have developed, I think, quite a nice tool in the region, the so-called Danube Learning Partnership, or DLEAP for short. It's a partnership between us, IWD, and the National Water Utility Associations in the region to deliver to utilities capacity building program offers. And just very simply and quick how it works. First of all, DLEAP uses the know-how of the private sector to develop training programs at the regional level. So what does it mean? It means that we at IWD, we work with experienced, we call them technical partners, to develop capacity building programs, trainings, and the content of those trainings. Second, DLEAP strengthens the national water associations by training local experts to deliver the programs on national level and in local language. So that means that our associations, they identify suitable trainers, which are trained by the technical partners. In the next step, they adjust the training content of a program to their specific circumstances, local circumstances. They deliver the program in their own country, and for the first time deliveries, they are supported by the technical partner to make sure that everything is running smoothly. Third, DLEAP is based on the collection of participation fees to allow for sustainability, so it means it's not for free. The utilities have to pay to the National Association a certain registration fee to allow the programs to run on a cost recovery basis. And finally, number 4, which is, I think, from my point of view, one of the most important, is that DLEAP builds on a governance model that provides a shared ownership among the different partners of the network. So it means that DLEAP has been established as a committee of IWD. It's governed by our partners and members, the national associations, and 20% of the fees that are collected by the associations among or within the programs go to IWD to cover operating costs and also to allow the delivery of new, we call them hubs, that are delivering then the program. So here on the map, you can see the list of 20 hubs we have created so far. So each association can basically have or run several hubs, one for each program. We have 13 countries covered with 8 programs so far and 487 utilities trained since 2017. No, it doesn't like me. No, here we go. We as IWD, we also offer 2 types of trainings under the so-called Danube Hub, which is basically covering the whole Danube region. These are the utility benchmarking program, which assists utilities in collecting and analyzing data and evaluating their performance, assessing, evaluating, and improving their performance. And in addition, the utility management training, which is a 2 years modular masterclass training for future utility managers, which we jointly implement also with the World Bank on the one hand, but also with an academic partner, the Sofia University. So finally, after 2 years, our graduates get ECTS credits. Both programs rely heavily on personal exchange, knowledge, and peer-to-peer exchange, and we build with those programs basically a community of practice in the region and almost a water family on those 2 different topics. In addition, we think that the utility benchmarking program could provide or be a nice and suitable tool to identify potential WOPs also in our region. So in a nutshell, we very much welcome the idea of a WOP SEE platform, and given our role in the region, we are happy to support the initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy. I must say that since the Danube Water Program started and it was implemented with the World Bank and IWD, the region really transformed, and today it's almost unrecognizable compared to before. I would now like to introduce Milo Fiasconaro. It is another partner that we are also in discussion on thinking how to support this initiative. Milo, please take the floor. It is Aqua Publica Europea, Association of Public Utilities in Europe.
Thanks a lot, Alexander, and good afternoon, everyone. I need to start with 2 apologies, which is not a nice start, but it's like this. First apology is that for those of you who attended yesterday the session on WOP in Iberians, well, I'm using the same presentation, but out of efficiency, one of the principles of efficiency is not duplicate work, so I hope that you will forgive me. And the second more substantial apology is that I need to catch a train absolutely later on, so I will leave before the end of the session. But this was part of the agreement, with Alexander, and so he accepted this, so I apologize with you for that. In any case, if I'm here today, it's also because it is the result of an ongoing and long talk with Alexander, with Caterina, and with GWOPA, and so we will certainly happy to follow up to this talk also beyond this session today about how to finance WOPs in Southeast Europe. Aqua Publica, a network of publicly owned water utilities. You will see the map here. There are some overlaps with the IAWD, but otherwise there are also significant differences. Our members are all public. Overall, the members provide water sanitation services to over 80 million European citizens, and our association has 2 main objectives. One is to contribute to European and international policy making in the water sector, and the second one is to work as a platform to promote sharing of knowledge of best practices among water utilities. We do that in particular through an initiative that we call Water Erasmus, which is basically a toolbox of instruments, modality through which utilities can meet, discuss, exchange knowledge of best practices to improve their capacity, to improve their performances, and improve the services they provide to citizens. We have different modalities. I will not go through that. They are not so different from what, at the end of the day, IAWD does. If you wish, at least from our perspective, I look at Anne on this, for us, they are also WOP. A little WOP, shorter, but they are WOPs. But we do also support officially WOP, and we support the participation of our members, public water utilities in WOP. Why we do so? Well, first, because essentially for the same reason that we operate as a knowledge platform, because we believe that knowledge is also like water, a common good, and there is a lot of knowledge in the public operators that can be usefully shared without costs. How we do support our members' involvement in WOP? Well, basically through 2 main ways. One is to try to give visibility to their project, to their involvement, to their results that they achieved through WOP. For example, this is a publication that we realized in 2019 on occasion of the launch of the EU WOP facility. It's about 30 best practices, WOP projects from our members. So we try to give visibility to what our members do, and precisely through this visibility, we also try to carry out an advocacy work and advocacy effort at European international level to explain why WOP are important, why it's an essential component of bigger investment project, and why so we need to have support, political and financial from European international institutions. Here you have some examples of some of these lobbying initiatives. I would like to highlight in particular the advocacy work that we have been carried out for years towards the European Commission, not alone, also with other organizations, particularly with WEI and other national associations, to convince the European Commission that it was needed and important to support economically WOP projects. And in the framework of this exchange that we had with the European Commission, then we were also asked by the European Commission to conduct a survey among our members, among public utilities, about constraints and drivers for the participation of WOP. Here you will find some results of both what is important and why members participate in WOP, but I also are the constraints of their participation. I would like just to emphasize the link on the constraint side between available funding and the fact that utilities are prepared and organized to get engaged in WOP. If there is not stability on the funding of this kind of operation, for a water operator, for a manager of a water utility, it's different to plan and allocate staff resources on the long time. And specifically in those countries where there is not mechanism like the 1%, some public funding, in particular European level, is needed. And I think that is also thanks to this dialogue that we had with the European Union, showing the reason why the support was needed, that at the end we were successful. And as you know, as from 2020-2021, we have a new funding program at European level, which is called EU WOP program, that WOP is managing. And that helped to increase the number of WOPs that have been financed throughout the world, including involving European utilities. Now, is EU WOP program financing WOPs also in the Southeast Europe area? No. Why not? I invite you to find the answer in the details, in the devil details of the organizational chart of the European Commission. The Southeast Euro area is not covered by the international cooperation dimension, an effort of the European Union. These are another directorate, other policies, other funding instruments, which means that there are no opportunities, no possibility to finance WOP in a sea area. No, there are potentially some, but we need to build it together with an advocacy action toward the European Commission that is coordinated among different organizations, different stakeholders, to show why it's important. There is a gap here in the Southeast Europe area that is not covered, and why it's needed to give more support. And we need to do it together. And it's precisely what we will happy to do so with you, with Alexander, Katerina, and other partners, and Europe, of course, in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Milo. Your support is very much appreciated. I would like now to say that in 2011 and 12, there was, WOPA first time came to this region, and there were attempts to work on establishing a platform. But as I said, 10 years before, it was different region. And we are now here again, and one of the partners involved in these activities was ADAP, Athens Waterworks, and I would call Litras to come and present what ADAP as utility, what they did in the past, and what are there some considerations for the future regarding the WOP.
Thank you very much. Okay, good evening, everybody. So I would like to present a couple of WOP activities that have been taking place in Greece in the past, and what are the challenges and opportunities of the future. So first of all, the water sector structure in Greece, there are two large SA companies. ADAP, that is the water company of Athens and serves 4.5 million people, and is in the center of the map, and EIAF, the water company of Thessaloniki, that serves 1.5 million people, and it's on the top of the north of the country. Apart from these two companies, there are 126 small municipal companies that serve a total of 4 million people, within a wide range of population size. They are in the mainland, they are in the large islands, and in the small islands. So one of the challenges is that the city of Athens, 4.5 million people reside in an arid area without many water resources. The consumption is 1.5 million cubic meters per day, so we transport water from 270 kilometers away. We operate one of the largest wastewater treatment plants in Europe that treats 750,000 cubic meters per day, but on the other hand, we have high expertise in water networks management and in wastewater treatment. On the other side, there are the islands of the Aegean Sea. They have extreme lack of water, extreme consumption fluctuation, because in the winter the population is very low, but in the summer it's very high during the touristic period. And some of those do not have even wastewater treatment plants. So there are two categories of water and wastewater companies. It's difficult to be on par among them in regulations and legislation matters. And a very, very severe problem is that there is an insufficient replacement of a retired workforce as a result of measures against the financial crisis of 10 years ago. So in the past, we have two national WOP activities. One was between the municipal company of Kefalonia and EIDAP. Kefalonia is an island in the west part of the country. And the subject was the management of their water distribution network after an earthquake in 2014. And the second was a national WOP between the municipality of Milos, an island in the Aegean Sea, and EIDAP with as a subject the water distribution network management. Now, regarding the future WOP activities in Greece, the challenges and opportunities are water distribution network management in small cities, water distribution network and wastewater collection systems interventions and optimization of operation, wastewater collection systems no-dig inspection and targeted restoration, and optimization of operation of wastewater treatment plants. The reuse in all aspects, the treated wastewater reuse, the wastewater treatment sludge reuse, population awareness regarding reuse and circular economy in general, the energy optimization in wastewater treatment plants, and the water energy nexus development. And finally, the development of a uniform pricing method and the development of common KPI set and benchmarking. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Timas. And now, after seeing some of the partners that are considering to support WOP SEE to participate in starting a platform, we have a presentation from WOPA, from Anne, to put some, let's say, to guide us how we should think on working on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander, and thank you everybody to be here today. Yeah, I'm gonna give a little guidance. I'm not sure, but at least I can let you know how we usually do things at GWOPA when we want to broaden the alliance. So as Katharina said, we already have some past history in the region. Unfortunately, until now, we never got a real breakthrough. There is no WOP SEE platform per se. There is no WOP program. There are some WOPs activities. We don't have, anyway, the monopoly of WOPs. There are things happening, but not with a label and not that we know of, not that we can count in our WOP family and give visibility. So I hope the next Congress we will have a big WOP SEE session with many examples. But I want to, we revived a bit this involvement in the region with our membership campaign in 2022. And we also have now a dozen members, utilities from the region, and we thought it seems it was a good momentum building up, strong appetite from the survey that we led for WOPs. It seems that, yes, there is a need, and there is also an interest in maybe structuring this network of utility as a WOP platform. So there are different ways to do this. But just before I'm going to this, I just want to share with you a little bit about our governance framework so that you also understand what we are talking about when we are talking about a WOP platform. So GWOPA, we are an alliance, so we have members. Most of our members are also utilities from all around the world, actually, because we are global. We have representative of our different constituencies in a steering committee that meets annually. We don't have only utilities in our members. We have also other UN agencies, development partners, knowledge institutions, NGOs, trade unions as well, which is an important partner for us. And all these categories have representative at the steering committee. And so the steering committee meets every year. It recommends strategic orientation to the alliance, and in particular to the secretariat, which is this UN Habitat program, which is hosted by Habitat. And we have every 2 years also a general assembly with all the members. Having said that, we have we have also guiding principle. We have this label of WOP, which are peer-to-peer, not-for-profit partnership, and it's very important for us to be really the guardians of this spirit of peer-to-peer, not-for-profit exchanges, knowledge exchanges for capacity building. This charter is endorsed by the members. It's a strong commitment that we are asking them. And the charter is established since our foundation in 2009, actually. Since we are also, I'm not going to go, well, I wanted to show you this. Since we are an alliance, we are global, but we are a small secretariat here, and we are not implementers ourselves, or not only, let's say. We work a lot with partners from the different regions. So what we have been doing since our establishment is to help either utilities association or other types of utility network to streamline their movement and to establish within the alliance the WOP platform. So in Africa, for example, the WOP platform is hosted by the African Utility Association. In Latin America, when we have Valeria here, that we will share with us also how it's working, but it's an informal network of utilities, but they have a governance structure, and it's hosted by an operator who is championing the WOP movement, let's say, in Latin America. There are different configurations, and it's very flexible. A WOP platform is not a legal entity. It doesn't have to be an association within the alliance, but I will give you the requisites that we think are necessary to be labeled a WOP platform. So this is what I'm going to share with you now. So for us, first of all, a WOP platform should be a network of utilities, either at a national, sub-regional or regional level. It has to have also, of course, a governance structure that is compliant with the GeoPass Charter. The charter should be at the core of the governance framework of this group of operators. And utilities should be the major constituency of this group of partners. We are not considering consulting agencies, for example. It has really to have a very strong not-for-profit orientation. The role of a platform within the alliance is to bring the utilities together, to play this role of matchmaking. So for doing this, there should be also a knowledge of the strengths and the weaknesses of the operators involved for the matchmaking to be efficient. Here again, there is no need to reinvent the wheel. There are in the region already some benchmarking initiatives. There is also good knowledge within different stakeholders of the operators from the region. So there are synergies to be found, but this is usually one of the role of the platform to do this matchmaking between mentors and mentees within the region. We are also relying on the platform at the regional level to share with us, the alliance, information on their WOP activities. So they are also part of our global WOP observatory. We give visibility to the projects, and we also share with our members and with our platforms guidance and tools on how to do WOPs, how to mentor, how to monitor WOPs, the WOPs project as well. We developed a series of guidance material and tool that help also the WOP to have a better quality and to be better recognized in the development community as efficient ways of building the capacity. Thank you, Milo. So this is what we are expecting from the platforms and what they can also expect from us. Of course, you have understood that also resource mobilization is key. So this is also one of the role that GWOPA can play, is to bring different partners and to go together to the donors with some proposals. I think it has worked well. Milo shared that with APE when we approach the European Union. We need to see which door we need to knock at in this context of this region, which has also its specificity. So here we want to bring partners together, definitely. We want this process to be as participative and transparent as possible. Also, if the utilities themselves have to decide which way they want to go, if it is necessary or not to establish a platform in the alliance, or if we can just continue working with different stakeholders involved. We are happy to support any initiative that will be taken in that direction and bring also our weight and our convening power as a UN agency in the initiative. So what I was saying, what we have seen working in the past, so it's an advice based on our experience. it's important to have an identity as WOP because it's a label which is now quite acknowledged by donors as well. So this is why we are happy also to give our etiquette and our label to a WOP initiative. In that case, of course, we are requiring that the spirit of WOP is safeguarded, and that's why we would like to have the charter also endorsed by the members of the platform. So we are recommended to have a sort of membership process or governance that put those very simple principles at the basis of the activities. Yeah, so and it could have different configuration. As I say, it could remain an informal network. We could have a label as a WOP platform, and I'm going to show you now when we enter in the bureaucratic process of UN Habitat, but I'll guide you. And there should be, of course, there should be a host, a champion. And that could be either a utility that is ready to pledge some in-kind contribution, like a staff time, because this is crucial at the very beginning, to have somebody that can dedicate time to bring the partners together, to have some meetings, and organize, like, for example, a matchmaking workshop as a first step to structure the WOP proposal if we are going this way. It could be either a utility, it could be an association, it could be shared between different stakeholders as well, but it's important that it is embedded in one institution which has also a legal status, because it helps later on if we want to structure the initiative as well. Expected activities, I think I already mentioned that. Matchmaking, capacity building. Here it could be also just under the umbrella of an already existing organization, doesn't have to be replicated. Collaboration with GWOPA on different levels as well, and it could be from a minimum level of intensity to the maximum level of intensity, which is really the implementation of a fully fledged WOP program. These are the different steps to establish a platform within the alliance. So usually we wait until there is a critical mass of operators as members as GWOPA. There should be a host identified. So as I mentioned already, to have it has to be a transparent and consensual process, who should take the lead as a host, and there should be an official request to UN Habitat through the response to an expression of interest. It's a simple letter saying, okay, we operators from Southeastern Europe. You need also to discuss maybe the name of the region where you also put the borders of this region. We want to establish a platform in the alliance, and then there is a memorandum of understanding between UN Habitat and the legal entity which is hosting the network. So it's an MOU. Katarina, you know about MOUs with Habitat. So this is the same type of document. And then there is, for the platforms, there is a reserved seat at the steering committee of the alliance, which means that we are considering then that we have a new region in the alliance, and we also raise the voice of the operators from that region in all the UN events we are taking part in, which is also an advantage to be recognized as a WOP platform in the alliance. Okay, maybe it's a lot of information, but okay, this is an old thing from last Christmas. But yeah, when we had the workshop online with utilities. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Now we saw kind of introduction, what we could essentially expect in the region to see. And we'll have now panel discussion. And I would like to invite speakers to come to sit here. So we have Rita Stundički, Senior International Relations Advisor from Budapest Waterworks. Online we have Ivan Ivanov, he is President of Bulgarian Water Association. I would like to call Valeria Suarez, Coordinator of WOP Platform for Latin America and Caribbeans. And I would like to call Elizabeta Poci, Albanian Waterworks Association, Šukalb, and of course, Johannes Lochos, representative of European Water Association and also DVA. So just for your information, this slide shows some of partners involved in this discussion. The yellow ones are Aqua Publica Europea members. The circles that are red and blue and dark blue are IWD members, and smaller white dots are utilities which are participating in the utility benchmarking program. And I am a coordinator for the Danube Hub. It is one part of those activities on behalf of IWD. So, would you be interested? No, it will be great. Yes, if you are able. Yeah. Okay. We were hoping to have GIZ also in the panel, but it was, yeah. Please come, yes. Yes. Yeah.
Parallel session going on, so, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh, if you would like any time to. Okay. Sorry. So just the first question I will pose to Rita. Budapest Waterworks is also one of large utilities in our region and already has some experience with WOP activities. You are currently working on WOP activities with Pakistani utilities under the EU WOP of GWOPA. Also had, we saw previously activities with Subotica on also WOP to support Subotica. Also you participated in different projects supporting many utilities. I know that your relation with Belgrade Waterworks is very good. So based on your experience, what would be some things, what is the thing that you found most helpful as an external support that you received under a WOP activity? And the second question, sorry. And what are the most important benefits that you see from WOP as utility that is a mentor utility to others?
It's okay. Thank you. So thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. So for the external support, I think this kind of matchmaking has been mentioned here as well, and in other sessions too. I think that's really important. Or the Budapest Waterworks we have had international business development activities in the past 10 years. So we have contacts and partners in regions where utilities can participate in WOPs as well. But still, even considering the recent the EU WOP, the Pakistani cooperation, we received support from PIVON, the Pakistani network, for example. As far as I know, they are very active in GWOPA, and they advertise these kind of opportunities for their members. Other than that, I think good external support is some kind of structure, some kind of network that we can also be part of, and where we can also see ourselves in comparison to other utilities on the one hand, and also on the other hand to see that how different challenges can be in different regions of the world. Like right now for us between Pakistan and Budapest, Subotic and Budapest wasn't so different. Yeah, it's good to see that there could be technical, there could be geographical, legal, all kinds of differences, different challenges exposed that the utility is exposed to, and having some structure as a WOP platform to it can give external support. And I think the most important thing that was already mentioned by Milo too, APE, that in Hungary there is no or very little financial support to this kind of activities. So we could participate now in the EU WOP program, but we really need that kind of financial support to be able to finance like a study tour even. And I think this is, although we can do a lot of things online, and this is one could be, if I may say so, a positive outcome of the COVID-19, that everybody is used to online meetings, but you cannot do everything online, and so you need some kind of finances as external support. And as for the benefits, this kind of comparison, this kind of benchmarking, that is also a benefit. It can be informal, but it really puts our operations and our problems into perspective. Another benefit is for our employees. Because sometimes working for a utility, and our utility is 155 years old, so sometimes we have generations working there. Father entered the company at 23, retired, son is working there too. So although there are internal initiatives and people are interested in their work, but sometimes it can be the same. And so this kind of international projects, including a WOP as well, can give extra motivation to our employees when they are our employees, and also our HR kind of uses it when recruiting new people, because as a utility we compete for the same engineers that any kind of market company, usually with higher salaries and better packages, compete for. So this is a good motivation. And it also gives the opportunity for our people to try to think out of the box a little bit, to face problems that they wouldn't have to face otherwise, and to use their brains, their way of thinking for not their everyday problems. And yeah, I think that was all in my notes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was very insightful and useful. Maybe, since we're mentioning matchmaking, actually next week we will have a benchmarking workshop in Vienna. There will be also Danube Water Conference. And then we will, a number of these, some 20 utilities will join to discuss. Everybody will have to select one graphic from benchmarking report where they are good and one where they are not so good. So we'll use it as a small matchmaking opportunity for utilities from the region. Thank you very much. Now I would go to Ivan. Sorry, I have this problem with glasses. Ivan is president of Bulgarian Water Association. Bulgarian Water is very active and very involved in the Danube Water Program also. Always tries to showcase experience from utilities from other countries to Bulgarian operators. They every year have study tours for benchmark utilities within the benchmarking program. Last year it was to Romania, to Apanova. This year they are going to Greece, to Thessaloniki and another utility in Greece. Ivan, I don't know where to look, but I would like to ask you, do you think that Bulgarian utilities could be interested in a more structured WOPs agreements with other utilities in the region or beyond? Of course, not only the study tour, but like a structured WOP. And what the support do you think would be most needed to help Bulgarian utilities to establish and in implementing WOPs activities?
Hello to everyone. I'm not sure whether you see me, but I hope you hear me.
At the moment we don't see you, but we can hear you well. You are
Okay,
like
so
an entity in the room.
okay. So I'm very glad to be part of this discussion. Regarding your questions, it's difficult to talk from the side of all the water operators, but I'm sure in general the water operators in Bulgaria will be interested to take part in more structured way of partnership and generally people are curious to see what the other do, to exchange information, to inform themselves. So I think this is a natural process. But in front to make it more structured, I think it will be good if I explain you what is the situation in Bulgaria in the water sector at the moment. 2 years ago, there was put in place a new structure, which is the Bulgarian Water and Wastewater Holding, which is supposed to be the owner of all the water operators. Some kind of policy of the government to put the management of all the water operators in a more professional way. And through this structure, I think we can make the exchange and implement the principle of GWOP in Bulgaria. And how we can do this, I think what help we need, actually, I think we need more information for the guiding principle, for the initiatives of GWOP, and a little bit more active participation of the organization in the events that the Bulgarian Water Association organizes.
Okay, thank you. Just to see, the other question was, yes, you answered both questions. Thanks a lot. Yes, these are questions that are on our mind, and we will discuss them today, but also next week in Vienna, and follow also after that to try to find some opportunity to initiate WOPs in the region. Now I would like to ask Valeria Soez, as a coordinator of possibly the most longest standing platform, WOP platform. It is WOP Latin America and Caribbean. So what, from your experience, and just to mention that the platform is supported by regional association and international Inter-American Development Bank. Involves some 18 countries, I would say, and supported already almost 50 WOPs under its mandate. So what would be things that you would like to advise us to be careful, not to do what could, for example, make the platform weaker, or could in any way put us in a wrong direction. And from the other side, another question would be, what are the things that we should not miss to consider, that we should certainly take into account, like some nice opportunities, easy wins, low-hanging fruit, as they say, or possibly a difficult thing that would help us go into the right direction.
Okay, thank you, Alexander. Good afternoon. Before starting, I just want to tell that WOP LAC is the regional platform for Latin America, and that it is hosted by ISA, which is the utility that provides water and sewage to the city of Buenos Aires in Argentina. From my point of view and my experience in the region, it would be the same or not, you will see in the future. I think that one thing that you should be careful not to do as a platform is to think that once that the match has been made, meaning that when you found the mentor and the mentee, your job is finished. It's not, it's just the beginning. I mean, maybe you have the chance to have two partners that are quite strong and solid and know how to go walking together, but often they need support. Once the match is made, they need support and they need to be guided to make clear what the objective of the WOP is, to have one objective well-defined, clear, measurable, for us to see the impact once the WOP is finished. They need guidance and need support to follow up the WOP, not let it slow down, let's say, because at the beginning everybody is very enthusiastic, and then when the time goes by, maybe one or the other, well, starts slowing down, and make sure that everything is done, the visits, the products expected from the WOP. So I think that, at least in Latin America, this guidance and this follow-up is quite often needed from the platform. And also make them clear that a WOP is much more than a visit, and that they need to work, because sometimes they think that is just a visit and they are quite interested in visiting another utility and see, but then we expect them to work, to implement good practices and to show results. That's important for the utilities, of course, and also for the donor, to see that the money has been well used. So that for the first question. And the other one, the thing that you shouldn't miss to considering, well, I think that it's important to work with all kinds of operators and a wide range of operators, large, medium, small, communities. All of them have things to share. And mostly, or often the huge operators are very, very required, but all of them are important, and all of them must have the chance to participate in WOPs as well as in knowledge activities, knowledge diffusion activities. Well, the other thing that is good for a platform is to work with a main donor. That brings you stability. You know that you can, well, go ahead with a number of WOPs and of activities. In our case, we have the support of the Inter-American Development Bank as our main donor. We work also with the Spanish cooperation, well, with the EU now on an EU WOP, and the operators themselves. But the support of the IDB is very important for us because of two things. One, of course, the money and the funding, but the other one is the experience they have in the region. they know the operators, they know their needs, they know their abilities, their skills, and they can help us to make that match, to find a mentor, to find a mentee. Sometimes they suggest a WOP because they are programming alone with some operator, and they think that they could, this operator could need to strengthen capacities. So both things are important from the part of the IDB, and I think that, well, I mean, WOPLAC stands on three pillars. One, of course, is ISA, which hosts the platform. The other one is GWOPA for the institutional umbrella, let's say, and another one is the IDB because of these reasons.
Thank you very much. It was really, really insightful, and thanks for these advices. We will try definitely to follow them. We actually, before this session, we did have some discussions in the region. There is, unfortunately, with us today, could not be representative of Chamber of Commerce. It is Association of Public Utilities in Serbia. They offered certain support for hosting of the platform. This is, of course, now to be further discussed. The colleague Dalibor Joknic from the Chamber of Commerce could not join, but this event is a bit colliding with the planned EURAO meeting in Prague. So definitely we will be further discussing and being in loop. Yes. And now I would like to also address one of the most proactive associations in the region. It is, by my opinion, and I believe of others. Yes. It is Albanian Association of Water Utilities, SHUKALB. There is really a long list of activities that the association does, so we cannot list it all here. But one thing that I really like about association is that, for example, in the project but currently working in Albania, we have a calendar of SHUKALB, where there are for each month a picture of that are drawn by preschools or third graders. And actually all utilities with which we work also have this calendar, and it's quite important topic. So in that sense, I wanted to ask you, do you see that Albanian water utilities would be interested in more also structured WOP activities with other utilities in the region or Europe or so? And essentially, as Anna mentioned, there was initiative to get members of WOPA in the region, and one of utilities, I think it is Tirana, is already a member also of WOPA. And the second question following the introduction, do you see a possibility or opportunity for substantial involvement of young water professionals in these activities? Although Rita already touched upon that with her response.
Thank you, Alexander. Thank you for recognizing also our work. So I have a short answer and a long answer to the first question. The short answer is definitely yes. The longer answer is because these activities align with our mission as an association. That's what we do. We don't call them WOPs. We do small parts of WOPs, among other things. Secondly, the water utilities, in the surveys, annual surveys that we do, when we ask them what do they want us to offer to them, and among other things, they express the desire for more study tours exchanges. Now, having said that, those should not be just study visits, as the colleague from Argentina mentioned. So a more structured WOP, so combining training, knowledge sharing, capacity development, plus study tours is something that our water utilities want to see more. And the third point to that, and as you saw from Katerina's presentation, we already have a network in the region, not just of water utilities, but water utility associations. So there's already fertile ground to build on something more structured as WOPs. About the young water professionals' involvement, that's another area where we dedicate efforts and activities to support young people to join the sector, but most importantly, to stay in the sector. Yes, we have a tough competition, as you rightfully pointed out, and these would be great opportunities to involve young people, to give them a specific task, to give them the responsibility to solve, issues, and then provide them with support, with a mentee, with a more senior person, but let them be in the front, let them take responsibility and lead. So this could be a particular aspect that we could nicely add to our WOPs, and again, as part of IAWD activities also, we are involved in engaging young people from different countries, at least in the Western Balkan countries, but not only. So all the pieces are there, but the piece that we're still missing, or we still need to figure out together, as it was pointed out by several speakers, is the financing. And we're happy to figure that out together, definitely. But we would need support normally for not just starting, but for sustaining these activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elisabetta. It was very, very, very good response. And yes, definitely, young water professionals are something. And I'm repeating always what is happening in the sector. For example, Belgrade Waterworks wanted to hire 10 young engineers, and they jointly with a university published a concourse, and nobody applied. So, and I heard also yesterday we talked with Athens. Situation is similar problem. Not, it's the similar problem. So it's kind of the sector may lose its attractiveness. It was, and things like WOPs could be something that could generate some interest for young people, definitely. Now. Mr. Johannes Lochhaus, contribution of DVA and European Water Association, the VWG also, related to technical standards and know-how is very well known in the region by utilities, especially but by associations. I personally also had the opportunity and privilege to participate in one project of German Water Partnership, where know-how was transferred to the region, specifically to Serbia and to Croatia, and Rowan was a part of that activity. In that process, we also learned about the neighborhood approach of German neighborhood approach, which is very interesting. Just to mention, for those who don't know, utilities are meeting regularly several times throughout the year to discuss problems or to solve problem of one utility, of individual utilities. What is essentially kind of WOP. So the questions would be if there is a certain WOP-based experience that on behalf of DVA or European Water Association you would like to share with us from the past. And do you see a possibility of the EVA and German Water Partnership further providing support to Southeast Europe utilities and associations, especially in the context of WOP specifically?
Thank you, Alexander. A lot of questions I try to answer. Starting perhaps with a more general answer, because you mentioned DWA, EWA, and German Water Partnership. So 3 different organizations, and I think 3 different tasks of these organizations. Starting with the German Water Association, we are bringing service to our members, and our members, we have 14,000 members, 8,000 individual members, and the other 6,000 corporate members. And I think what we are doing there is, on the one hand, you mentioned the neighborhood system. It is very local. It is I think I always say it is a permanent, continuously further education of the staff. And that is the level. That are the workers coming together on this regional, in the regional group organized, from our regional group organized. And there's around 15, 20 plants located quite narrow. They meet 3 or 4 times a year for exchange. And they go from plant to plant and they visit their neighbors. I think that is very important and that is very local, and they discuss the problems the workers has on the plants and they bring their experiences into the discussion. The next level, you spoke about our standards from DWA. That is more on the academic level. And there we form groups for different questions. For example, wastewater collection or wastewater irrigation of rainwater and stormwater management, or water purification. Now water use is a big topic. So to each specific question, we set up a group. We have 10 main committees, 80 subcommittees in these main committees, and altogether 360 committees doing this very detailed work. And they came together, share their experience, write them down into the standard, make a publication on a yellow print, and looks for feedback from the public, from the other water experts, and then they make a white paper, and that is our technical standard. And from these technical standards, we have around 350 different standards. And in some projects which you mentioned, we share this experience also with other countries. We are open for sharing the experience, but first we did this job for Germany, for ourselves. But if there is interest, we are very open to share this experience. And that is the next point when we speak about EWA. That is an organization for the associations. So I'm very happy with Elisabetta and Ivan, 2 other association members from European Water Association are within this panel here. And that is, I think, an exchange of the association. What are you doing? What are you doing? I heard from the calendar several years ago, and I was also deeply impressed about these activities. And I always say size doesn't matter, yes? Also small countries can have very good ideas which you can transform to other countries, but also you can learn from larger countries, also the smaller ones. And this kind of exchange and knowledge exchange can be done on this European level within the European Water Association. That's an organization for associations, but the work on the basis must be done from the national association, must be served by the nationals. And in Europe, we have the specific problem that we have so many languages. So today we all speak English, but when you go on the worker level, it is not normal that every worker can speak English and can express in English. And so it makes also our standards are produced or elaborated in German. And if you want to use it in France or in Italy or in Albania, you have to make a copy, and that is some costs, and yet you need experience also to do this. It's not so easy to translate a technical standard into another language. So there are a lot of questions, and there is a big willingness to cooperate and to share experience. And there are, I think, we have good existing platforms to do this, and we can use the platform. And at least at the end, it's always the persons who are deciding, and they must have a benefit to be active in an association, and they look for a personal contact, and therefore you say a lot is possible on a digital way, but not everything.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is, taking German knowledge and bringing to the region is always a good thing. And I think that number of associations are translating and did translate number of standards, what is I think good.
I think we have translations in Roland. You know how many languages? A lot of languages in Spain, in English, of course. We do a lot of translation into English because we have the European standardization process. So, and if you want to be visible in Europe, you can't communicate in German. You have to communicate in English. So we translated from our own a lot of standards into English to bring them in, to offer them for the European standardization processes, and some of them are implemented, or ideas of them are implemented in the European standard. So we have to withdraw them or to reduce them to the rest. But I think that is also very important, this English basis standards.
Thank you very much. We have 5 minutes more. But it's 5:15? 5:15 is the end. Oh, sorry. So it's just time for... I apologize for stealing you from another station, but I must say, I was hoping to get also Istanbul here, Marmara region, because previously they are kind of a part of this Southeast Europe with this small part in Southeast Europe. So the question we heard now that what is needed, and the thing is now how to transfer this, how to find the support of transferring this knowledge, especially, for example, from Germany, into the region, and supporting countries and utilities from the region to work with each other. In Western Balkans, especially, GIZ is very much active. There are ongoing RCDN project. There is, I think, there should be RCDN Plus now. And there were even some initiatives within RCDN about exchanging knowledge between peer. It's mostly focused on municipalities, but this peer exchange. So if you have any wise words for us, how to approach this issue, it would be.
Wise words. I think we have heard already a lot of wise words and a lot of experience with WOPs. I appreciate from Budapest to hear what is the benefit actually of the participating WOPs, the mentor on the mentor side. Of course, there's a lot they can take away. And we heard about the labor scarcity, the skilled labor. I think it can promote people to apply for a job in a water company when you offer also international activities. And what we also have heard here about that WOP is not completed with the matching and the platform work. I'm heading the German utility platform program. Another platform. And our work actually starts only when, okay, the matching is a process, yes, but then what is a structured WOP? A structured WOP is cooperation between utilities who have a clear aim. You know, you have a clear work plan, you have a clear idea what you want to achieve to improve the the services of your partner utility. And of course, you gain so much that you can also improve that. You can also improve the your own services, I think, as a mentor, for example. Unfortunately, we as the German utility platform, we are not active yet in the water sector in Southeastern Europe. And but we are just entering, we are not working only in the water sector, we are also working in the solid waste sector. We're just entering in the solid waste sector, so we are about to discuss a contract for the first utility partnership in the waste sector in Albania. So with Lübeck and Serena and Cerik, so 2 municipalities, and we're having probably another one in Kosovo, but also in the solid waste sector. I think for me, a success factor for WOPs is definitely that there's a close tie to already ongoing cooperation activities. For example, we always tie our WOPs closely to our GIZ programs. And if you talk about the Balkans, Southeastern Europe, the RCDN project, the Regional Capacity Development Network program was already mentioned. That is a program under the Open Regional Fund for the Modernization of Municipal Services. So there is room to attach WOPs. There's room. They have a lot of contacts with the associations in the region. They have a lot of contacts with water suppliers or waste companies. That would be in our interest, of course. But the challenge is definitely as well funding, funding. So BMZ, they tell us where to go, and that's where we go. We are a government organization, so that is clear. We cannot go wherever we want to. So there we go where our programs are, and they even require that our programs, with their own funds, are financing WOPs. And that is not always easy because funds are scarce. So you have to be very early in the programming process to squeeze some money out to finance a WOP, for example. So that's what we try, and that's what we do, and we have first successes, yes, but that's not the common practice presently. So you rely on donors, for example, like SECO. SECO is very active in the Balkans. So if you can convince SECO to accompany their own investments, that's also for me a very important issue, their own investments with a WOP instead of maybe consultants. Because that is because a WOP, if you have an investment, then WOPs can support, first of all, the planning, then the building phase, and of course they can make sure that plants already built can be operated sustainably. How many plants do you know in Albania, wastewater plants, I know some, which are not operated at all because they're oversized, they don't have the people to run the plants, and WOPs can really make a difference in that regard. And that is why these are our experiences, and there's a lot to do, and then a part of all, what makes a WOP a WOP, when is a WOP a WOP, what is a WOP? It's not only a visit, so it's a wide field, and it's very interesting. It's a very interesting topic, and that's why I still love to work in that field.
These were definitely wise words, so we will follow them. It means we need to direct money before it is disbursed, one of things. Yeah, definitely we need to finish. We will send conclusions, and we'll continue discussion next week already in Vienna. So where Anne will also present to our UBP utilities WOP concept, and we will stay in contact and in discussion how to move forward. Thank you very much.
Before you leave, for those who are still here tomorrow, I'd like to invite you to our LAC